Welcome back. This is still Good Morning Kenya. In the headlines today does continue. We are giving you a special look into what is happening in Uganda as they go to the polls today, and we welcome your feedback. We appreciate you for staying with us this far. Hashtag is still Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. At KBC Channel 1 remains to be our official station handle. At Jane Momboi, at Sam Dublin Joroge, at Doreen Arange, and at Ray Manyara is how you can reach us individually and share with us your thoughts. Hashtags are trending on social media. Hashtag Bobby Wine is trending. Hashtag Uganda Decides is trending. And we just also want to have a quick look, how Uganda is doing. I can see there's a tweet that has been put up a while ago by, I believe, to be someone who has, or rather is in Uganda, saying that people have already queued. Let me just quickly pull it up. Saying people were up and early, ready, queuing, and they are ready to cast their votes. That is Alice MC Cool. Early voters queued up in Buzinga, Kampala, but the ballots haven't yet arrived. One man told me that last time he voted, he had to wait until 2 p.m. to start voting. Is it going to be a different conversation today? We'll be keeping you up to date in regards to all that is happening. Remember, there are a total of 11 presidential candidates, 2 of whom are considered to be the ones who are putting up the biggest challenge. That is the current president, Yoweri Museveni, and Bobby Wine, a former pop artist. But Bobby Wine has so much support from the younger part of the population, which constitutes to about 40% of Uganda's population. And most people are saying, yes, he stands a chance. Another part of the population saying, well, he doesn't really quite stand a chance against Museveni. And at one point in the past, Museveni did refer to him, and I quote, as our grandson, the undisciplined Bobby Wine. And since 2018, we have seen Bobby Wine being arrested. Allegations of him being tortured have also surfaced on both mainstream and social media just because he has been speaking against the system, the state, the power that be. He has been an MP before he declared his official intent for, running for president for Uganda, and here we are. The time has come for the state to decide. But who really is Bobby Wine? Robert Chagulanyi.
Sentamana.
This man, Bobby Wine, watu wanasema amesumbua Museveni.
He has just bobbed up the wine and made it vintage. And you know what?
He be whining.
Bobbed out the wine.
He be whining and dining.
Bobby be wine.
The ghetto president.
And in a short while, we'll be speaking to Jose Chameleon.
Chameleon.
Yeah. Mira balu balu baby.
Huyo.
Now mami mira witu way.
Jesus.
Ajana balu balu baby.
Veje tunakula midomo hapa.
Sini life manze.
Lakini bora tumetoa hiyo tune. That is the most important thing.
Sijui because ni Thursday nienda TBT.
Na bado by the way.
Na umeniacha.
Oh.
Umeniachia watoto.
We started it so well. Then you just had to Twende, Doreen, unajua the next part?
Anzisha.
Sam, just be quiet.
Hiyo part ya kuachiwa watoto ndio staki kuvalidate for a boy shower.
Was that what was on your mind?
But I understand you, because what is catching on right now on social media is the Stingy Men Association. And I tell you, we are working towards the men's conference that happens around mid-February. Why men are scared about this, I don't know. But now,
we're not.
When you talk about Jose Chameleon, what comes into my mind is that particular jazz.
By the way, I love the fact that you mentioned Valentine's. We are coming from Merry Christmas, Happy New Year
to Valentine's.
Guess what's trending right now? Valentine's is coming.
Where's your boyfriend?
Lonely.
Alone. I even don't know what's going on.
Valentine's is coming.
But on the real though,
where is your boyfriend?
You are sitting alone. Alone.
But before we get to the Valentine
Rea
conversation,
za bougie me.
Like I don't do
What's she
that.
I don't know what's going on.
before we get to this conversation about
silence.
Valentine, Ray kwanza kona issues with this Stingy Men Association, which we'll be getting to in a bit. But we are set to have a conversation with Jose Chameleon to just understand his perspective as an artist, seeing that somebody who was in the industry is, decided to take on this path, and he has constantly put his life at risk. He has risked his safety, his family's safety, just to see change in their country. We will be having Jose Chameleon in not too long. Na sijui kama tutampatia intro, tutaimba before akuje, si ndio?
Mimi kwanza niko ready. Nisha line up tracks ka 3-4 manze.
Mimi nataka turudi hiyo ya.
Njoki.
Mimi nikanao
ilikuwa inaanza hivi. Ilikuwa inaanza hivi. Alafu inaanza
hiyo track mimi sitaimba.
So you just watch.
Hata tutaki wimbe.
Juu nimenormalize kuacha. Na sitaki watoto.
Umenormalize kuachiwa.
Nimenormalize kuacha.
Umenormalize kuacha.
Na
Si
sitaki
kuachwa.
watoto.
Na utaki uachiwe.
So mimi usiniachia watoto by the way.
Umewachwa ama unawacha.
Basi
Ama umewachiwa.
tutakuachia information about Bobby Wine.
Unajua ile
We get to know him better, even for the benefit of our viewers.
Unajua ile track nitakuwa nikingara nayo? Mina valo baby.
No damn, you can't just sing that song that way.
I know.
Atiana valo darling.
God no.
Alaleo.
No.
But imagine Sam may try.
I hope
Never
the
try.
producer didn't have
Never
our
try.
guest online to listen into that. He might actually decline giving us an interview after hearing you sing it that way. He might actually decline.
Lady Bumps, what to bonge?
Unajua wengine wetu tulishajikubali kuimba na sisi huku.
Yeah, but you're
Unaona venye mimi ninakuanga na shida na kusema gifts.
Manze tuletewe.
That is me and singing.
Mimi naingoja.
Mimi najikubali. Ni kama
Ujijue na ujikubali.
I hope that you've never tried to sing Baby to Bed, a lullaby,
Lady Bumps,
you would
what
give
to bonge?
the baby chills.
I have even to adjust my sitting
actually
position.
it's told, yeah? Let me just give you a fun fact about children. When babies when they get scared, they actually have a running stomach.
It's true.
They diarrhea. So you can
defense,
imagine if you get to sing a lullaby to a baby,
in my defense,
then they end up getting scared. They have a running stomach. Don't do that.
In my defense, I usually don't have to sing them to sleep. And this is an experience I've gone through.
What do you do?
All I need to do is to hold them close, lay them on my chest, then just do a hum with my deep bass. And then it's done.
How with the deep bass on the baby's lips?
Like they
works,
feel,
by the way.
They feel a certain
vibrations.
kind of way.
Jay.
No,
And I
honestly,
literally
true.
watch them get to bed. And that for me is an experience enough.
The vibration from
The
your
vibration
voice,
from
the
my
harmony.
Courtesy of my voice.
Underline note vibrations. What you do with that info
It's
is
totally
still
up
Up to you.
up to you.
Uh-huh.
But please, for the sake of the upcoming interview, please don't sing Jose's track like that. He might actually decline to give
Actually,
us
ndio ina come
Kuendelea na hiyo
through.
interview.
Producer amefungua mlango, so meaning anytime from now, it will be landing right here. And then we'll be getting an opportunity to just talk to him, understand what is happening on the ground. We've seen a section of artists in Uganda throw their weight behind Bobby Wine. What exactly does this mean? And pundits argue that of the 5 factors that will be influencing the outcome in as far as decision time in Uganda is concerned is the presence of the pop star challenger. All right?
Yes.
So we'll be getting to understand more from Jose Chameleon.
And key to note is that it has gotten to a point where Bobby Wine resorted to walking around wearing a bulletproof vest.
All the
Because
time.
fearing for his life, fearing he could be taken out any time, since he made his intentions when it comes to running for presidency public. But of course, so many people, part of the population, have been supporting, especially those who are considered to be under the poverty line, because looking at his background, he grew up in one of the largest slums in Uganda, and he has always been about growth, bringing people together, helping elevating the community, and bigger parts of the population that are living in the slum areas have always been behind him, supporting him, and wanting him to be the change that they want as a population. So we will be getting to know him better. He's 38 years old, the biggest challenger in the 2021 Uganda elections. So let's see what force he is as. But there was this question on social media that what if, just what if, Museveni does concede defeat? What if?
No, before
Bobby Wine becomes the president?
I feel like that was our 2002 situation, 2002, 2003, when
the Kibaki...
not everyone expected the late President Moi to concede defeat and hand over power to Mwai Kibaki. But guess what happened? He literally left his lieutenants at State House.
But trust me, we are not leaving the banana plantation anytime soon.
Yeah, but he literally
just started.
He literally left his lieutenants at State House, got into the car,
drove himself,
and drove like akaonyesha. By the way, sim chezo, it's a wrap for me.
And I saw what you did there. I saw what you did there. And you remember how the old Mercedes that he used to drive, ilikuwa ikionekana, unajua, Moi amefika. And the fact that he decided to actually drive himself to go and hand over power for the state, that was something that meant so much for the country, for us as Kenyans. Now we are in a time where we're in a different, under different leadership over the years, and Ugandans, from the interview that we had earlier on, saying that they admire us as a country, we also had our time where we saw the change that we hoped for. Could this be the same for Uganda today? What if Museveni concedes defeat? Sam?
We've got Charity Ahimbisibwe, who's joining us by way of phone. Charity, good morning.
Good morning.
How is Uganda this Thursday?
This Thursday, Uganda, it is calm. It looks like it wants to rain. Maybe it is... I hope it is not doomsday in Uganda. The sun is not brightly out like it usually comes out at this time. But yes, the situation is calm in the city center and most parts of the country.
Fantastic. What are some of the top issues that you shall be observing in the wake of the ongoing polls in the country?
Now, part of the issues that we will be observing and looking out for is the question of the BBVK machines. Are they working well? How long does a voter take at the polling station? Because it is a COVID-19 election, and we had expected that they will be washing places, but we already see in about 60% of polling stations observed in the morning. There is no place to wash your hands. And we shall also be looking out for whether there is social distancing and people are wearing their masks, because we're conducting the election in a COVID-19 perspective. So it is important to see whether the promises that the Electoral Commission made before we went to the polls actually have come to pass. And then we shall also be asking the question of at what time did the materials arrive, whether voters would easily access their names in the voters register, those who have national IDs and those who have voter location slips, and those who don't have any of those documents but they're 100% sure they went through the voter register process. We are also looking out for whether PWDs inclusion, the question of inclusion, PWDs, pregnant women, youth are being allowed to vote without any distraction. And we are looking out for intimidation, hate speech, and we are looking out generally for the environment within which the election is being cast.
Let's talk about the environment within which the election is occurring. And given past experiences, what would you say, what would your take be about the enabling environment?
Now, the environment is already harsh, as you notice. I am on KBC, but I could not be on Zoom for people to see me by face. We are in a total internet shutdown, a thing that we anticipated even before we got onto the election day. But we knew that by the time it is elections, we will not have internet, and we downloaded VPN. We thought we could bypass the internet, but we have not. Some of us have failed, even with the modified VPN. So it has distracted us a lot. That's not a good environment to work in, because the media houses are also getting restricted information. Accreditation for media houses was not holistic. They selected those that seem to have a bit of inclination towards government reporting, and those who were critical of what is happening were left out of accreditation. That's the kind of environment in which we are. The observers also, the biggest domestic observers, are there as what we would call voters. We are observing as voters, and we are observing as citizens of Uganda, not as accredited observers, which is really weird for this election. And we are also, with the only accreditation we got as SEDU was the accreditation for voter mobilization, so we are there as voter educators. But we can tell you clearly that it is an indictment on the process, because shortly before we went for the election, the Ugandan citizens, 60% of them said they trust local and international observers. But when you see the international observers pulling out of the process,
exactly,
and you see local observers,
yeah, continue, Charity.
Okay, and you see the local observers not accredited, then it tells you that the confidence levels in the process are already in question. And also it tells you that when we are done with the process, and there is a lot of disgruntlement, because I can almost predict that there will be very many people questioning the results that will come out of this election. When there is disgruntlement, who is it that is going to provide information to allay the fears of people that would have been involved in the process, now that the observer has largely been locked out?
And talking about observers being locked out, what then becomes the role of the region? And I'm talking about the East African region when it comes to, you know, the election that is currently ongoing in Uganda.
Now, we have the East African observers and IGAD observers, but they came on too late into the process, and they should have had boots on the ground. What usually happens with those observers when they come, they work with local observers. And the reason they work with local observers is because local observers already have the context, and they have the people on ground. And yes, we are in touch with many of them. The Women's Situation Room is also here and working around the clock. They even have call centers, but they are largely looking at the question of peace. Now, when they work with the local observer has a network on the ground. Like, for example, I am observing, even if we are not accredited, because our observers are voters in the first place. So because I have a database of their names and numbers, I'm calling one by one of the 1,000. I cannot call all the 27,000 individuals who belong to SEDU. So we sampled 1,000 from the different parts of the country, and they're the ones we are calling, and we ask them the questions that are on the tool, and then they respond for us, and it's that we shall use to produce data to do with the process. But we shouldn't have been going through the back door to do this.
And talking about the back door, that's Charity, should we or should we not expect voter apathy in the ongoing election in Uganda?
In the countryside, I can almost bet that there's going to be a lot of voter apathy, because the voter education was poorly done, and it was done in small scale towards the end of the election. The bodies that are mandated said they did not have sufficient funds to carry out voter education. Even civil society has already been constrained. So yes, we carried out a voter mobilization campaign, which we had hoped to continue through election day, because the Electoral Commission had said we can go ahead and educate people even on voting day. But with the internet down, it becomes hard, because most of the material had been online, and since the demographics were about young people, we had hoped to find more young people online and show them, since they're first-time voters, on how they could vote. But now, here they are off the internet, and we have to meet them physically, and we cannot be everywhere at the same time. So for that matter, we decided to put our teams in just the hotspot areas to do the voter education. So there's going to be a lot of apathy. I predict. I'm just predicting. But
Okay.
until the end of the process, can we know for sure?
Fair enough, Charity. And what of the issue on generational gap? To what extent is it likely to influence the outcome of the ongoing election in Uganda?
The generation gap.
Yeah,
How is it likely to affect the outcome?
exactly.
Okay, so the generation gap, like you are saying right now, the demographics are saying we have 75% young people, and when young people vote, they want to actually stay back to keep their poll, because they have been telling me, even before we went to the polls, we did a survey with them, and they said even when we cast our vote, the most important thing is to keep that vote until the time of counting, and I see for real that my vote matters, that my vote counted, that I came out of my bed to vote and express my will, and it is being captured the way I want. But the police has also said that you will not be allowed at the polling station. So this generation gap is going to cause a bit of violence and a bit of I think unrest in some places, like in Wakiso. Many of the places this morning have not received material again by 9 a.m. And the young people told the police constable to their faces at the polling stations where our observers are, that if I can, the materials are not here, we are going to protest. Now, that is the generational gap, that the young people with energy feel they want to express themselves, and they're not going to be shocked by even guns and people wearing uniform all around them. The elderly people still feel, no, the young people are a bit so dramatic. We want to retain status quo. We can't trust political parties. What we saw happening in political parties, the people who are 40 years and above, the people who are in SMEs, small, medium enterprises, feel like, no, we want to retain status quo, because we have seen that one person is DP today, tomorrow they are NUP, the other day they are FBC. They are not even steady in their own political parties. They don't seem to have a credible alternative for us. And so for that reason, they feel like, no, the better thing to do is you stay with the devil that you know than the angel that you do not know. So that is going to be
All right.
a generational challenge.
All right, we get you, Charity, and honestly, we do wish you all the best today. I'm very sure it will be a busy day for you, and we hope the sun comes out in Uganda in the course of the day.
No, I hope the sun comes out, really. Thank you so much, KBC.
You are welcome, and have a fantastic day. Glad to speak to you this morning.
And I'm glad to speak to you too.
Thank you so much, and all the best.
Thank you.
Asante. So that has been Charity. Asante Nashkuru Pierre, joining us by way of phone, because it's been a challenge getting these people on Zoom, courtesy of the internet challenges that are currently ongoing in Uganda in the wake of the election that is currently ongoing. Also remember that some international observers have pulled out from this particular election. So what does that exactly mean for the outcome moving forward? Factors such as COVID-19, the generational gap, the role of Uganda within the East African region, as well as the pop star challenger, that is Bobby Wine, factors that are likely to influence the outcome of the polls. We will be right here, sure and steadfast, to brief you on each and every activity that will be coming forth from Kampala, or is it Champala, today. Thank you so much for your time. We are not yet done. We are taking a breather. When we return, Doreen Range will be up next with the Entertainment Thursday item of the day. Actually, I'm told, courtesy of time, we are not taking a break. We're simply handing it over to her. Doreen?